Hey, writers. I am very excited to continue giving you some more tips and tricks and things to think about as you work on continuing or possibly even making some revisions to your draft as it is so far. So, keep in mind what we've been doing. We've really been focusing on this elaboration and craft in our stories and how can we really make it come to life, setting the scene, developing characters, and showing theme throughout our story. Here is what we are going to do today. Today, I want to teach you that writers of historical fiction pay attention to the setting, not only the time and place, but also paying attention to the mood of their story and the historical time period. To do this, you have to show feelings surrounding a major historical event. You have to express how people felt in this time as these things were happening. So, I think a really good way to show this to you is to use some stories and texts that we have read together before and that we're all a little familiar with. So, I'm going back to Rose Blanche, which we read in reading a while ago. We've gone back to this a few times since then as well, but I want to talk about how the author created mood in this particular story. So, as much as the words on the page are important, the pictures definitely help play a role in this as well. But I want you to note and think about some of the things that we want to make sure when it comes to engaging in mood. So, mood is kind of once again that focus on elaboration and craft. So you have a copy of your rubric that looks something like this in your reading folder or writing folder, sorry. Here's elaboration and craft. We have been working really hard on actions, feelings, and thoughts, right? Here's where the craft starts to come in. Can you show why characters did what they did? Maybe it has something to do with the historical time period. I'm going to skip parts going fast and slow and jump to I'm using precise and sensory details. So you're being very specific and purposeful when you're describing what's going on around your character, whether it's going to make some parts of your story connect or whether it is showing the historical time period, showing the mood. His figurative language is also a really great tip for that. You're using a storytelling voice, conveying emotion or tone of your story. That's mood. When you tell the story, how can I sense emotions? When you tell the story, how can I picture the kind of scene that your character is currently being put into? So let me skim through my book here and see if we can find anything in here. Look at this. This is when the soldiers were riding through town. So now the trucks follow each other under the school windows. They're full of soldiers we don't know, but they wink at us. That kind of shows some mood there, right? The mood of the soldiers at this point is they are feeling very confident. They drive tanks that make sparks on the cobblestones. They're so noisy and smell like diesel oil. They hurt my ears and I have to hold my nose when they pass by. Ooh, that stench, right? I remember when we read that, we actually paused and we're like, ooh, could you imagine just sitting at school and smelling that diesel oil? She has to plug her nose as they drive by and it's noisy. They're really creating a mood here and showing that there's not a lot of interest in these soldiers. There's not a lot of excitement about them being here. Oh, I went on the next page and I saw some words that specifically helped show mood. Sometimes it seems things haven't really changed, but my mother wants me to be careful crossing the street between all the trucks. She says soldiers won't slow down. That word careful, right? Of all the things that she could be as she crosses the street, careful is the one that sticks out. On the next page, it reads, lots of times I walk by the river just looking at it. Branches float along and sometimes old broken toys. Old broken toys, right? Anything could have been in that river. It could have been ducks. It could have been fish, but it's old broken toys. Setting the mood that this isn't like the nicest place that you have toys floating in your river. I like the color of the river. It looks like the sky. Well, I'm reading that and I'm recalling that later on in the story, the reflection in the river isn't that positive blue look anymore. So as I read through here, I'm seeing that when the author is creating mood, it's all about word choice. It's all about picking specific words to convey a certain feeling, to show a certain feeling. So let's dive into that, what that looks like when we're developing sentences, how you can easily adjust for mood. That's not what we want. Easily adjust for mood as we write. For a lot of you, the questions you've asked me have been, oh, I realize this sentence gives away my theme, is a really big conversation I had with several of you recently, right? Well, how can we just change one or two parts of that sentence to not give it away? Take a look at what we have here. We're creating power sentences. So on the side of my chart here is different ways to create a mood for this basic sentence. The boy went up the stairs. That's a simple sentence many of us could very easily include in our writing, right? The girl walked down the street. But how do we add mood? How do we really show the scene and the feeling of my character based on this kind of action that they're doing? So look at how we can change the sentence, the boy went up the stairs, to show that he is excited going up the stairs. Many different ways you can walk up the stairs. With a gleam in his eye, the boy raced up to the top of the staircase. The gleam in his eye, right? He's racing, he's excited. But maybe if he's sad or reluctant, kind of picture what would that boy look like? And how can I develop a sentence to make sure that that vision comes to life in my story? Head bowed, the boy sighed and dragged himself up the long staircase. Wow, entirely different than the boy raced up to the top of the staircase, right? Scared or sneaky. With a nervous glance, the timid boy creeped up the dark and shadowed staircase. Wow, that's like giving me some like scary movie vibes, yeah. Maybe he's not even excited and he's just happy he had a good day. While humming a silly tune, the boy bounced up the stairs. Or maybe angry. With a scowl on his face, the boy stomped up each step of the staircase, right? Look at all the different ways we have added to these sentences. We changed the verb, right? We added at the beginning a little bit of an explanation of the character's expression, and then we showed what kind of a description of what they were doing. Those simple additions to the boy went up the stairs help you show mood. They help set the scene. And along the way, they kind of show character, action, feeling, and thought, which is all part of that craft that we are searching for in our writing, boys and girls. So this is something that you can really go back and edit and revise for quite easily. And this is something I want you to do today in your writing. How can you take the family walked down the path and show how they were feeling as they walked down that path? Were they optimistic and excited about their journey? Were they feeling down because they just encountered a broken wagon wheel? Were they feeling nervous because they know the area that they're currently in is an area where people usually get into fights with Native American people that are living there, right? How can you show the emotion and the feeling that people are experiencing through their actions in these scenes? That can be done one of two ways. You can continue writing on from where you're at and think about how you can craft your sentences to show that. Or you can go back to what you've already written, make some revisions there, and then continue on when you are ready. It's your choice. It's your story. In the end, we just want it to be complete. Happy writing.